Good evening, members, Tri-County Electric Cooperative, and welcome to our town hall meeting here. This 21st day of November is 6:30 p.m. The purpose of our meeting tonight, as we had stated at the annual meeting earlier in October, was to give you an update on the Brazos bankruptcy, the process by which Tri-County will be paying its portion of the bankruptcy costs, and then the impact to the membership as a whole. So tonight I'd like to report that on November the 14th, which is a week from today, Brazos had its confirmation hearing on their intent to exit from Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And the Federal Bankruptcy District Court in Houston, Judge David Jones was the presiding judge there. Judge Jones heard the presentation of their exit plan and disclosure statement and approved Brazos's confirmation of approves the confirmation of Brazos' exit plan from Chapter 11, which did meet all the bankruptcy tests according to the federal statute. So the next process was then for each co-op to pay its portion. 15 of the 16 co-ops had costs incurred from Winter Storm Uri from February of 2021, along with additional costs related to the bankruptcy of Brazos Electric Power Generation Cooperative from Chapter 11 bankruptcy. We, Tri-County, we had the next process with the bankruptcy was the exit, as we talked about at the annual meeting. Brazos's ability to allow each member co-op effective March 1st of 2023 to procure their own power supply and into the open market. As we have reported to y'all twice now in our Facebook Live and then at the annual meeting, that we are procuring RFP bids for power suppliers to provide power to our members beginning March 1st of 2023 through Tri-County Electric Cooperative. Our power supply bids, we had a very robust bid process. We had some of the highest number of market participants willing to procure power in a contract for Tri-County. And since then, 2 weeks ago, we narrowed the list down to the top 3 providers. And we're hoping that by our rate hearing in December, that we'll have it narrowed down to the top 1 and a purchase power price. I think the good news for Tri-County is our load is so attractive in the market that we do see an opportunity for our power costs to go down, along with our PCRF coming down, hopefully beginning in March or April of next year, and that amount will actually be enough or more than enough to eclipse the bankruptcy cost for Brazos. So we're very excited to report that there's an opportunity for our bills to go down at the same time while power supply costs are bringing it down. We also have the ability to pay the bankruptcy costs, which will help many of our fixed income, low income members, and even just members as a whole of the co-op not seeing an increase in their power costs. We have looked at the natural gas prices, and we do see 2023 having a definite change in power supply, natural gas pricing. So we hopefully maybe by December 12th meeting, we'll have some specifics for you, but we do see that load curve that we had talked about in October, where natural gas has been on a huge increase. That we do see that actually tapering down or even coming down even in the 2023 window, which is all good news to our members because we've had some of the highest PCRF costs due to natural gas in the last 14 months and probably have in the last 14 years. As a reminder, one of the ways that Tri-County chose to finance our Brazos costs was through financing through a partnership with CoBank, the Farm Credit System. So I'm going to ask Melissa Watts, our Chief Financial Officer, to come up and just kind of give you an update on the financing portion of our Brazos bankruptcy. Melissa?
Thank you, Mr. Shriver. As Mr. Shriver said, Tri-County was able to secure traditional financing to pay our Brazos winter storm and bankruptcy cost. We closed on our loan the first part of November and were able to forward lock our interest rates before the Federal Reserve rate hike earlier this month. We want to express our appreciation to the Farm Credit System and especially to CoBank for partnering with us to make this financing possible for our members. We are in the process now of determining the final rate to our members now that we have the interest rates. The board recently approved the tariff that we will discuss in more detail on December the 12th at 6:30. The good news, as Mr. Shriver said, is that the winter storm cost should be covered by power supply savings. Thank you.
Thanks, Melissa. I think it's pretty important to note that at Tri-County, we still have every intention, the board, is to separate the costs of Winter Storm Uri / Brazos bankruptcy on our bills. It'll be a separate line item for the members to look and monitor. We also have board approval that the patronage capital that we receive from CoBank each year in forms of cash back for our patronage with the Farm Credit System will be applied to that debt. It'll be applied to reduce that principal. The intent is to pay this debt off as quick as we possibly can, and the opportunity for the members to see that slowly decline off their bill as soon as possible. It is important to us that your overall bill not go up and that the cost of that bill actually goes down, especially with natural gas coming off and power supply being procured only for Tri-County. In 2023, beginning March 1st of 2023, in the history of Tri-County Electric Cooperative, that will be the first year that Tri-County will procure its own power supply and not be subsidizing any other co-op in the Brazos system. We will be only providing power for our members, and the economies of scale and the value of that will apply only to the members of Tri-County. So we're very excited that the subsidy game is kindly going to an end. I'd like to also report to you that some of the opportunities is that the Brazos exit, the judge had a concern about low-income folks, and that we have been told in the exit plan that there will be a Brazos low-income fund that will be created. Several of the member co-ops were selected to sit on the advisory committee. I know our neighbors to the south of us, United Co-op, had a representative on that committee to help design a low-income fund. If those members of any of the Brazos co-ops fall below the federal poverty level, then they would qualify for a subsidy through this fund to reduce some of their Winter Storm Uri costs. So as that program is developed probably in January or February of next year, we'll be informing our members of the details of that and trying to assist our members to see if they can qualify if they fall below the federal poverty standard. So it's just an opportunity once again to try to help our members the best we can with what we have. Also, by keeping the line item, I think your members will start to notice that we have a new bill format that started out as a request of our membership. We're very proud that our members have providing us ongoing input on ways to make the co-op stronger and better for them. And so we hope that the new billing format is something that the members had asked for and that they appreciate that. I will pause here and just remind everyone, if you have any questions, just press *3 and on the keypad of your phone, and then you'll be able to ask questions that we will be glad to try to address one by one as we get them in. So the last thing I'll just bring up is that on December the 12th, you'll find out in the Texas Co-op Power Magazine that you receive in December, you'll have the notice of the rate change for the Brazos bankruptcy exit fee, and you'll have the town hall meeting on December the 12th. And as Melissa said, we'll be able to explain how much of a rate impact it is. I know that some of the co-ops around us have already announced how much their fee is on their electric bill to pay their Brazos bankruptcy Winter Storm Uri costs. We should have ours completed with our rate model in time for the December 12 meeting. With Melissa and her team will come forth and explain how Winter Storm Uri will be paid for on December the 12th at our 6:30 meeting. So I'll pause here and see if we have some questions. First one is from Lee. Thank you for, since costs are coming down, will our rates? Absolutely. Your rates, if you'll look in your October bill, Just like United and CoServe having their rates, your PCRF will come down as those rates come down as well. So yes, you will see the rates start to come down. But remember now, we still have Brazos Power for January and February. So our ability to control those power costs won't be until March 1st. Tina online said, when you get new electric supply, will our rates go down? Yes, ma'am. Are you going to put the cost of the PCRF on the bills and let us know what price it needs to be to get credits? That's correct. Yes, ma'am. That'll be on there as well. Robin, when will we be able to choose our own electric provider? We won't have that, Robin, for quite a while. We're just now negotiating power costs to come down. Why do members have to wait 20 years to get dividends? If you're talking about patronage capital retirements, we're on about a 18 or 19 year rotation, Tina. So we probably just need to look at your account and see why you have not, you're not receiving those capital credits. But be glad to talk to you about that question. If you'll just email me or give me a call at the office. Alyssa online, how much will the Brazos bankruptcy adder be on our bill? Alyssa, this will be December the 12th. We're working on those calculations right now based upon the based upon the kilowatt hour costs, and we should have that on December the 12th. I know Melissa has locked the interest rate in on the note. We're just running the bill calcs now to see what that would cost, and then we'll be able to provide that to you on December the 12th. But it's going to be somewhere between that 1 cent and probably 3 cent markup in there somewhere. We just don't know exactly. We'll have that fine tuned at some point by the December 12th. We'll have all that worked out. Okay, SV online. So are we as members paying the cost of Brazos and other suppliers' negligence during the February 21st outages? February of 2021, outages. You members are only paying the cost of the power supply portion that was assigned by Brazos to Tri-County for the Winter Storm Uri, and also some of the additional costs that was incurred because Brazos went into bankruptcy. And I'll say that is that you'll be able to read in the filings that their coal plant went away and some of the costs of the coal plant was there. They also had on their debt for the coal plant some interest rate swaps, and those swaps that did not come through in the bankruptcy, those were assigned to the member co-ops, which in turn to the membership. And I think, SV, those are the only costs I can think of on the cuff here of what those costs would be. Tri-County's portion of that was $477 million, and we have calculated that at the beginning it was about almost $790, I believe, what Melissa had told me way back there. And because of the bankruptcy process, those costs were reduced down, and Tri-County's portion of that's $477, I believe, is our total number for that. No other questions? Okay. I'll just close up. Tina, don't forget to reach out to me. We'll work on the patronage capital. Alyssa, if I didn't answer your question, reach out to me. I'll be glad to follow up from there, as well SV and Lee as well. Robin, I can get with you on the provider issue, but it really has to do with customer choice, and we're not quite ready with all the changes we have to jump into customer choice right away. So let me just close and say, as folks will have questions, feel free to be able to reach out to us. We'll do our best to answer your questions as soon as we can. And then also remind our members that December the 12th, we will have the complete rate package together. We'll know exactly the impact to your bill. Once again, as I said earlier, we're pretty confident now that our power costs are going to come down March the 1st, and that should easily eclipse the amount of power cost adder that the Brazos bankruptcy would have. So at the very least, we're going to see our costs coming down on our rates. We're very confident that it's positive, a positive outlook for Tri-County finally. But I do think long-term, the ability for Tri-County to procure its own power providers in years to come through either long-term deals or through short-term deals, that we'll see the size of our co-op being and the economies of scale and opportunity to provide closer to market-based rates again without any middleman costs added as well. We're very excited about that. I just say appreciation to a lot of the employees of Tri-County. They've been working on this, diligently since probably March the 2nd. That was the day after Brazos had filed for bankruptcy in 2021, nonstop. I would say a big thank you to the board of directors. The board has had numerous calls. We've had weekly calls with the board that was specifically on the bankruptcy only. Those were costs that were not charged to the membership. They were done. The directors did not get paid to be online on those calls. The directors just got on the call and kept apprised of what the bankruptcy involved. We had a lot of our staff members, a lot of our employees involved in this process from day one. And, without all them in place, Tri-County, I don't think would have been as well positioned as we are today. So I can't say enough appreciation. I know that there's been criticism about the bills and how high they were, but we do see there's light at the end of the tunnel. We do see natural gas coming down, and we do take the opportunity as much as we can to do Facebook Live, member updates like this, trying to do our best to keep our members the most informed about what's happening, what's going to happen, and do our best to keep your bills down. So once again, we continue to try to tell you we're in this with you, and we're doing our best to control costs and to get your power bills back down. I will close and say appreciation to everybody who's sending questions. Feel free to reach out to us anytime. Thanks for being a member of Tri-County. Hope you have a good, happy Thanksgiving and a wonderful holiday break. Thank you. Good night.